the history and background of Biafra, and the question of marginalization. Introduction. The idea of Biafra occupies a powerful and emotionally charged place in Nigerian history. Rooted in the experiences of the Igbo people and other ethnic groups in the old eastern region of Nigeria, Biafra represents both a historical secessionist movement and an ongoing debate about identity, equity, and political inclusion. Understanding Biafra requires revisiting colonial legacies, ethnic tensions, military rule, and post-war national dynamics that continue to shape Nigeria today. 1. Pre-colonial and colonial background. Before colonial rule, the region later known as Eastern Nigeria consisted of diverse groups: the Igbo, Efik, Ibibio, Ijaw. These societies largely operated decentralized governance systems, except for coastal areas influenced by trade. British colonization in the late 19th and early 20th centuries reshaped the region politically and economically. Artificial borders grouped many distinct ethnic groups into a single colonial entity. Indirect rule favored centralized northern systems, causing administrative imbalance. Economic disparities grew as the eastern region became a hub for trade, education, and missionary activity, producing an educated Igbo elite. Colonial policies planted seeds of political rivalry that intensified as independence approached. 2. Ethnic politics and rising tensions after independence, 1960 to 1966. Nigeria's early independence years were marked by fierce competition among the three dominant regions: Northern Region, Hausa; Western Region, Yoruba; Eastern Region, predominantly Igbo. Tension escalated due to disputes over census figures, political alliances and election crises, regional competition for federal power. The first major rupture came with the January 1966 coup, led by young officials from Igbo and Yoruba tribe. Although the coup targeted political corruption across regions, it was widely perceived in the North as an Igbo coup because key northern leaders were killed. The idea for the January 1966 coup in Nigeria was primarily driven by widespread political instability, rampant corruption, and deep ethnic and regional tensions that characterized the First Republic. The young officers were determined to end the chaos and bloodshed, particularly the Operation Weedy crisis in the Western region, which followed the widely disputed and massively rigged 1965 regional elections. The government's inability to maintain law and order and the perception that the ruling Northern People's Congress (NPC) was trying to dominate the South contributed to a breakdown in public confidence in the democratic process. The July 1966 counter-coup followed, resulting in the killing of many Igbo soldiers and civilians. 3. Pogroms on the road to secession. After the 1966 coups, waves of anti-Igbo violence swept across northern cities. Between May and October 1966, thousands of Igbo civilians were killed in what are often described as pogroms. Over 1 million fled back to the eastern region. Efforts to reach a peaceful settlement, such as the Abori Accord 1967, collapsed due to disagreements over regional autonomy. On May 30, 1967, Lieutenant Colonel Chukwemeka Odumegu Ojukwu declared the eastern region the Republic of Biafra, citing the safety of his people and the breakdown of federal unity. 4. The Nigerian Civil War, 1967 to 1970. The Nigerian government rejected secession, leading to a devastating war. Over 1 to 3 million people, mostly Igbo civilians, died, largely from starvation caused by blockades. The conflict drew international attention due to the humanitarian crisis. Biafra eventually surrendered on January 15, 1970. General Gowan declared a policy of no victor, no vanquished, promising reconciliation and reintegration. 5. Post-war Nigeria and the continuing debate on marginalization. Despite official reconciliation, many in the Southeast argue that structural marginalization continued after the war. The grievances often cited include: A. Political representation. Nigeria has never had an elected president of Igbo origin since 1960, except for a brief military head of state, Agi Ironsi. Key federal appointments and security positions are seen as disproportionately excluding the Southeast. B. Economic and infrastructural issues. Critics point to underdevelopment in federal infrastructure, poor road networks, limited federal investment, and fewer national projects in the region. The oil-producing areas of the South-South, formerly part of eastern Nigeria, also raised concerns about environmental degradation and inadequate federal compensation. C. State creation and resource distribution. The Southeast has fewer states, 5, compared to other geopolitical zones. Some have 6 or 7, affecting revenue allocation, political influence, and legislative representation. D. Collective historical trauma. The memory of the war and the suffering associated with Biafra remains deeply embedded in the region's identity. Narratives of survival, loss, and perceived injustice continue to influence political consciousness. E. The continuous destruction of properties belonging to Igbo citizens, hence not located in the East. 6. Modern expressions of Biafran sentiment. In the post-2000 era, Biafran sentiment resurfaced, driven by groups that claim political and economic exclusion. Some movements advocate nonviolent activism, while others adopt confrontational rhetoric. Broadly, these calls stem from youth unemployment, demand for regional autonomy, perception of unequal treatment within the Nigerian Federation, resurgence of ethnic-based politics, and security challenges. It is important to note that views among Igbos are not monolithic. Many seek reform within Nigeria rather than secession. Conclusion: the history of Biafra is a complex story shaped by colonial legacies, ethnic tensions, civil war, and ongoing governance challenges. While the Biafran cause symbolizes the quest for dignity, justice, and security for the peoples of eastern Nigeria, the broader conversation reflects a national struggle with fairness, federalism, and unity, addressing concerns associated with marginalization. Through inclusive governance, equitable development, and historical acknowledgement, remains essential to building a more stable and just Nigeria. Thanks for watching. Like, and subscribe to receive more video news from us.